This week, we've been working a lot on character analysis and how we can dive deeper and study a character in a story or a book and determine the traits of the character. So, we've been doing that a lot this week with Maniac Magee, but today we are going to focus on a different story, and I'm going to model what that will look like today. So, in this lesson, I am going to study a character and make decisions about who they are and the traits they possess. I will continue on what we have been doing this week and use what we have learned about character analysis. My goal is to find two pieces of evidence, if I can find more, awesome, in each section of the text to add to my analysis. Who remembers this book? Throwback. Chicken Sunday by Patricia Polacco. This is such an amazing book, and I'm going to use this book for my character analysis today. In this character analysis, I'm going to focus on Miss Eula. What a wonderful lady. So, I grabbed a section from Chicken Sunday, and I'm going to use that to focus in on Miss Eula. I'm going to look at the words she spoke, the action she took, her thoughts or feelings that I observed or inferred, and also her appearance. So I'm going to keep those all in mind as I read this little section from the text and to dive deeper to understand who she is and to dive deeper into a study of Miss Eula. So the text says, "We'd walk to church and back. She'd take my hand as we crossed College Avenue. Even though we've been churching up like decent folks ought to, she'd say, I don't want you to step in front of one of those too fast cars. You'll be as flat as a hen's tongue." She squeezed my hand. When we passed Mr. Kadinsky's hat shop, Miss Eula would always stop and look in the window at the wonderful hats. Then she'd sigh, and we'd walk on. So I found three pieces of evidence in here for the character analysis on Miss Eula, but you only need to find two. If you can find more, that's awesome. So the three that I found one in words spoken, and the quote I got was, "Even though we've been churching up like decent folks ought to," she'd say, "I don't want you to step in front of one of those too fast cars. You'll be as flat as a hen's tongue." So that was the direct textual evidence from the book, and so that's why that's black. And then in red, I have my own thinking. This shows me that Miss Eula believes that Faith is on her side, but she knows that the fast cars will not stop for them. It also shows that she really cares about the boy by her expressing her concerns about him crossing the street without paying attention to the fast cars. The feelings observed or inferred. Then she'd sigh and we'd walk on. My thinking. This text led me to infer that Miss Eula really wants one of those hats. She would always stop at the store to look at the hats and then sigh when they left, so that led me to infer that she is a little sad that she is unable to have one of those hats. And then actions that Miss Eula took. When we passed Mr. Kandinsky's hat shop, Miss Eula would always stop and look in the window at the wonderful hats. My thinking. This shows me that Miss Eula truly admires Mr. Kandinsky's hats because it states that she is always stopping to look at them. I wonder if she will get one of those wonderful hats. So I didn't find one for appearance in this section, and that's okay. Not every section of a text will have all these four categories filled out. The next section from Chicken Sunday. We called those Sundays Chicken Sundays because Miss Eula almost always fried chicken for dinner. There'd be collard greens with bacon, a big pot of Hoppin' John, corn on the cob, and fried spoon bread. One Sunday at the table, we watched her paper fan flutter back and forth, pulling moist chicken fried air along with it. She took a deep breath. Her skin glowed as she smiled. Then she told us something we already knew. That Easter bonnet in Mr. Kudinski's window is the most beautiful I have ever did see, she said thoughtfully. The three of us exchanged looks. We wanted to get her that hat more than anything in the world. So as I read, I started thinking of what words that Miss Eula spoke, and I kind of kept those in my mind. I looked for some actions that she took. I looked for if she had any thoughts and feelings that showed in this section, and if there was anything about her appearance. And these are two evidence I found and pulled from this section. The word spoke. That Easter bonnet in Mr. Kudinski's window is the most beautiful I ever did see, she said thoughtfully. This quote spoken by Miss Eula, this is my thinking, shows me that Miss Eula was admiring the Easter bonnet in Mr. Kudinski's window after church and that she wants it so badly. It reminds me of a time when I really wanted a baseball cap from my favorite baseball team and how hard it was to stop thinking about it once we left the game. So I was able to connect to this text and also understand why Miss Eula loves that bonnet so much. The appearance. Her skin glowed as she smiled. My thinking? This text shows me that Miss Eula shines brightly when she is thinking about something she truly loves, and her smile radiates when thinking about it. She seems really excited about something, so I wonder if her dream is going to come true. The next section, I'm going to really look at the word spoke, her actions she takes, her thoughts and feelings, and her appearance. She looked at us for a long while. Baby dears, I want to believe you. Heaven knows that I brought you children up to always tell the truth. If you say you didn't do it, then I believe you. It's too bad, though, she went on to say. That poor man has suffered so much in his life. He deserves more than eggs thrown at him. You know, he thinks you threw the eggs. You'll have to show him that you are good people. You'll have to change his mind somehow. So in this section, I see a lot of words that she speaks, and I also see an action. She looked at us for a long while, and this is what my thinking is. So the word spoke that I grabbed, one of her quotes from that section. That poor man has suffered so much in life. He deserves more than just eggs thrown at him. You know, he thinks you threw those eggs. You'll have to show him that you are good people. You'll have to change his mind somehow. So my thinking is Miss Eula feels bad that this happened to Mr. Kudinski because she believes that he is a good man. She wants her grandchildren to prove to him that they didn't throw the eggs because she raised them to be good people also. She wants them to fix this situation so he knows that they would not do such a terrible thing to someone. This shows me that Miss Eula is a kind and thoughtful person and wants Mr. Kudinski to know that her grandchildren are the same. Action she took. She looked at us for a long while. In this text, I can tell that Miss Eula was at a loss for words with what her grandchildren were convicted of doing. I can infer that she is disappointed in them for what she thinks they did and is trying to think of a way to fix it. This is the last two sections that I pulled from the text. They say, when Easter Sunday arrived, we thought our hearts would burst when we watched Miss Eula open the hat box. She held us close as big tears rolled down her cheeks. And then on the next page, our hearts sang along with the choir that Sunday. She looked so beautiful in that hat. When it was time for her solo, we knew that she was singing just for us. Her voice was like slow thunder and sweet rain. So my analysis from those pages. Actions she took. She held us close as big tears rolled down her cheeks. This text shows me that Miss Eula was overjoyed to see the hat that she has always wanted. She was so overjoyed that big tears rolled down her cheeks as she brought in the ones she loves most for a hug. Her appearance, she looked so beautiful in that hat, was the textual evidence in my thinking. This text shows me that Miss Eula finally got the hat she has always wanted, and it looks so beautiful on her as if it was made for her. Now it's your turn. That was my character analysis of Miss Eula. Now it is your turn to do the exact same thing that I did. So your assignment, you are going to do exactly what I did for your assignment, but not on Miss Eula, on Mr. Kudinski. So in Google Classroom, I have a PowerPoint that you will use to do this. The PowerPoint is exactly the same as this one. There will be little passages like I had from Chicken Sunday that you will use to add to textual evidence, and make sure you add your thinking. I did it black was textual evidence and then red was my thinking. That is a good way to separate it out to show us what your thinking is of that textual evidence to really analyze that character. And you will add your textual evidence and your thinking to the character analysis chart that follows, which is exactly what I did in this video. You will focus only on Mr. Kudinski, not Miss Eula. I already did that. You will only focus on Mr. Kudinski and his actions, his words, his thoughts, his feelings, and appearance. So only Mr. Kudinski, and you will add 2 textual evidence and your thinking to each chart on the slideshow. The charts will show up after each little passage, just like they did on this video, in this video. If you need extra assistance at all, if you have one little question about one, or if you need help on the whole assignment, Mr. Carroll, Mrs. Kirsch, and myself, Ms. Miller, will be available all day to help you through this, so please reach out. We are here to work with you toward success. We want you to be successful with this because this is a major skill that we're going to use in the next couple weeks as we dive into a story in a book group and do a character analysis on that main character. So right now we really want you to be able to do this independently. So if you need extra assistance so we can get you there, please feel free to reach out to us. We will be available all day. Awesome. Thank you so much for listening, and please let me know if there's anything I can do.